Okay. Are we live? I think we're live. I think we're live. I think we are live and are live. You know what? Yeah, let's get this show started. Yo. First of all, I want to acknowledge something that this is a members only stream. And maybe I guess I'll make it a members in only until a particular time and then whatever, open it up to whoever comes across it. But I want to just acknowledge that first of all and say thank you to anybody who's a member or anybody that becomes a member, even after seeing this. And yeah, I just want to just first of all start from there. And s- the second thing I want to go into is the fact that just do a quick little check in and say, check in with myself and just tell you exactly where I am. So, not like location wise. Obviously, I'm at home, but I am waking up from doing a 24-hour stream. I literally was live for a very long time, and I didn't even think about this prior to doing it. I just went into it, and partially because one, it was sort of put as a challenge, and I do like challenges, and I like setting personal challenges. I don't like challenges that life just throws at you when you don't need them and don't need to be dealing with them at that particular point. But I like challenges that I impose on myself. And I was doing this with that spirit. And I want to just share with you that, like, I learned that, like, you know what? Sometimes when you really just go for it and be spontaneous and act on the things that you've been thinking about, you know what? You can actually do it. And that feeling of gratification that I have now that I actually did this 24-hour stream was just like, I didn't know that I'd feel this good about myself. And I want to just share that. And maybe that might inspire one person to be like, let me go try something that I have never tried before and push myself to just like new goals, new heights. You know, when was the last time you did that? Be honest with yourself. When was the last time you did something you haven't done before? Like a goal that like you impose on yourself, and actually like um follow up with. You know what I'm saying? And this leads me to the fact that I also want to just say, like, you know, I want to set another goal. And I will set another goal soon. So like in terms of the streaming thing, and I will be intentional about it and just sort of like declare it, act on it, like declare it and manifest on it, right? Manifest it and then act on it and reflect on it. That's that's sort of like one of the three-step things that I want to just kind of just do for myself, especially also on my other channel, Botswana Reacts, which I encourage you to subscribe to. But anyway, let's get into while we're here. Shout out to Doctor in the building. Sorry, I just went on this message that I wanted to share really quickly, and say, yeah, if you want to join in, please feel free to join in this like free flow discussion, reflection, review of Patrice Evra's I love this game. Matter of fact, before we even get into the book, I think we can start this conversation from just sort of like, it's funny that I have heard Patrice ever say this, and I think I probably stumbled across like a Instagram video. It could have been a, yeah, TikTok. I would think it was an Instagram video. But the point is, it was just him doing the things that he always does, just being carefree, Patrice, and being very just like funny, energy giving, and also just being a bright spark in the beginning of the day. And I think it was in a Monday when I don't even remember which month, which year, but it was just like I saw a Patrice of a video, and then he said, I love this game. And I was just like, that is that, like, I heard it for one time. I saw another piece of content as well that also was similar to that, and then what I had seen first, and then it was like another funny Patrice Evra maybe dancing, and he had like just one shoe on one foot, and the other foot was barefoot, right? And he just does the whole like you know um make you laugh and then say, I love this game. And I kept on hearing it, hearing it, and hearing it. And it's sort of now it's something that I just associated with him. And the moment I heard um, Uncle Pete had a book, I was like, he has to call it I Love This Game. And indeed, he called it I Love This Game. So shout out to Patrice. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like almost synonymous with who he is as a person. And yeah, maybe we can start from there. Patrice ever talking about the first time maybe he said, I love this game. You know? Let's start there. Let's start with the tagline and uncover the man a little bit. And we'll get into, just who he is, etc., in the book in a bit. But like, let's start from there. I bet you didn't know this.
Social media is absolutely accident.
Oh, wait, what?
Actually, me being on social media is absolutely accident. When you are in your room, you're bored, then I finish my shower. I like to sing. I'm a bad singer, but I just scream. And I sing at the end, and I say, I love this game. I love this game. There is nothing about any game. I love this game is about your life. Life is a game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but just stay positive. And where I take it, actually, back in the day, when you remember the NBA, it was, I love this game, but they never say it. So because I didn't speak English, and I was like, I love this game. So that's where he come from. Then after he went viral, but like I said, sometimes I see a comment on my post, someone say, I lose my dad watching one of your video make me smile. This is more important than winning the Champions League.
Whoa! Say what? I was not expecting that profound bomba at the end there. It's a bomba of wisdom. It's, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Patrice Evra bomba.
It's a David Ornstein bomber that's dropped.
Like he said that is more important than winning the Champions League, right? Being able to put a smile on somebody's face. And I like that he referenced the fact that he said, somebody said, I could be having a moment of doom and gloom and, parent passing away, family member passing away, friend passing away, and the content, your personality, you sharing yourself with us, or with the world, is actually something that like has helped me, and this is somebody talking to him, and now that saying that, and just sort of just like him valuing that feedback from somebody, and just that taking it in, and also just, it's such a he's such a great person. He's such a great person. But that's crazy that being on social, he said that, right? He said him being on social media was an absolute accident. Oh man. Okay. All right. All right. Well, you can catch the rest of that, obviously, the rest of that video on the Off the Field podcast, and Patrice Evra talks a little bit more about himself there. But like, yeah, let's take a moment to actually, like, I feel like, do a little quick uncovering of who he is. Patrice Evra, the man, the legend, the Mr. I love this game. Okay, thank you for waiting. Thank you for being here. Now, Patrice Evra. It's funny because he's he's somebody that, like, hold on a second. I want to make sure that my there we go. Sweet. That my I'm able to actually share this. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, Patrice Evra, the man, the legend. The we want to I want to just quickly just do a little brief overview of who he is um as a person, right? So, and then we'll get into the book. So Patrice Evra, as you may know or may not know, he's um I'll put him as a Manchester United former, like he's a former Man United player, but he's a legend, to me. And he played obviously also for Juventus. He's won a lot of trophies, Champions League trophies, and his story is the one that, like, I intend for us to, like, uncover and unpack chapter by chapter. And we're gonna do the first couple of chapters on this stream, but he is somebody that, like, his story that is very inspirational and impactful. And I feel like it's a story of, like, resilience and determination that we may benefit something from just learning, and getting a reminder about, like, some things that he faced to become the person that he is, and the successful individual that transcended a lot of hurdles. you know it's a very, 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 very um powerful story that needs to be shared. So, you know yeah, he's born in May 1981. And we'll get into the story about, like, how he became a left back, and etc., etc. But he's somebody that, like, was born in Senegal, Dakar, Senegal specifically, and spent a lot of his time in his hometown, and also moved around to Italy and France, so forth. Italy and back to France and so forth. We'll get more into that as we go through the chapters in this book. But this is somebody that I feel like he's also, we have to put some respect on the fact that he's also achieved major international um, um, like success as a player, like being able to participate in the World Cup, and it's just like a um, it's a very 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 inspirational story of triumph, and yeah. So that's like the quick little, you know, who's Patrice Evra, and we'll get into now the fact that like he's somebody, or rather his the way this book comes across, and the way this book is just sort of like shaped is just something that I want to kind of just like unpack. Big up to Joker Dan, by the way, who's a member, recent member. Thank you to Joker Dan for that. I appreciate you. And Doctor, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? I am out here hoping that Doctor will come and also share her impressions on the book. But like anyway, um, the link is in the chat too. By the way, if you hey, okay, you're here. Well, yeah, pull up. You got the link. But like anyway, let's get into like the book. Or maybe I'll wait for you for a second before we really get into it. But here's what I want to say about also where I am also coming into just reading this story. Like I think the last book that I read, I think was Steve Jobs's book. And it wasn't like an autobiography. It was, I think, you know, a really really well put together collection of work, a collection of work by Isaacson, I believe is his name, Walter Isaacson. And he um did like a series of interviews, obviously, and a series of like research from family members, friends, relatives, people that didn't like him, people that like did favors for him, etc., etc. Like he wrote a really really well put together piece that just sort of like takes you through the ups and downs and the twists and turns of just what um Steve Jobs' legacy was about, and Steve Jobs' story was about. And it was such a great book to experience and just read. I just um I feel like that was important specifically because it was just about like how, you know, um like sort of America was sort of like evolving or redefining itself in a moment where like technology and creativity were meeting. And Steve Jobs's impact was just so it was there was such a ripple effect that affected so many other industries. And it wasn't just about where he, like his Apple, it wasn't about just like his company was just like what other platforms ended up sort of also benefiting from what he laid down. And and it's just like a story of also, as I said, like, triumph as well, just going through different hurdles to get to your destination. And the challenges you may experience, the enemies and friends you'll make, and collaborators you'll meet. And it's just like such a great well put together um you know piece of literature that, like, I was just like, okay, this needs to be made into a movie, if it's not already. But anyway, back to Patrice Evra. We saw how he has his catchphrase. Big up to Young Poppy in the building. you know Had to do a little through pass for the folks on Twitch. All right, let me see if Doctor is here. Shout out to Doctor.
Hey y'all. Hi, how are
Yeah.
you?
Big up yourself, big up yourself. I'm
We
good.
made it. Finally made it.
We're here. The book
Yeah,
review is happening.
exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, I was just talking about sort of my the last book I read. What's the last book you read, by the way?
It has to be the Martin Luther King, like autobiography. It has to be Martin Luther King's autobiography. But
Mm,
like, if it's like a storybook, Chronicles of Narnia.
okay, okay,
Like
okay,
I just started it, so
okay,
that's
okay.
yeah,
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, yeah. I haven't read the MLK
yeah.
autobiography, but, you know.
I had read an edition, like a watered down version when I was in high
Mm,
school, junior high. But this one really like, oh, I'll have to look for it because I read it on my Kindle. So obviously, probably I'll have it on like in Kindle this week. But
okay,
it was very interesting.
okay. All right, all right, all right. Well, yeah, we might as well like, you know, get into it because I want to just hear your just like first impressions of it, and then I'll share mine, and then like, you
Yeah.
know, I haven't.
So
I, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say,
Yeah.
first of all, I don't know why he decided to start like the first what two. Let's say the first three chapters is just
Oh,
him
hold on,
telling us,
hold on. Don't go too deep. I want to just, I want
yeah,
first, like,
okay.
just general impressions
Oh,
first.
general impressions.
Yeah,
Okay, first
yeah,
general impressions.
yeah.
He's. I feel like he, from his childhood, he could have easily gone down the route of uh, bad route,
Mm,
and just something just made him say, "Nah, I'm going to stick to the good." You know, because and I like it. The writing style, everything. I love it.
mm,
He is not. He doesn't go too into detail, but you can read in between the lines of what has happened to him,
mm,
and
mhm, mhm, mhm.
it's heavy.
Yeah, yeah. I said,
It's heavy.
yeah, that was one of them things too. That first I noticed, I was like, oh, this, because like, as much as say the last book I read was Steve Jobs, it was a long time ago when I when I read a
Yeah,
book, like sit down to read an, biography or autobiography, you know.
yeah, yeah,
So um the pace for me was just like just fine, and it was just like I like
yeah,
how it's just like he's, as you said, it's not too much into detail. It's sometimes a little enough detail, and then sometimes he's like filling the blanks a
yeah.
little. Yeah,
And what he
yeah,
did do is when he was going at, like he knew how to uh, he knew how to balance out the heavy stuff, yeah, with the lighter stuff. If stuff happened at
yeah,
school, but he'll put in a little thing of, "Oh, my brother held a party."
yeah,
There was always parties going on, stuff like that. And I'm like, ha
yeah,
ha, a little funny thing. But
yeah,
even though the funny thing is also kind of heavy, but not as heavy as what you just said like 2 minutes ago.
yeah,
So,
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay,
and
okay.
that's
What? Uh-huh.
the surface, because it also brings up questions like, what would you do in situations that he's gone through? Because I feel like men should be able to talk about stuff. Yes,
Yes.
young puppy, it counts. It does.
Hey. As long as you read some more than just Instagram comments, and
I know.
I shout out to you. Yeah, 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 yeah. But sorry to derail your thought.
No problem, no problem. Men should be able to talk about what they been through in life,
Yeah.
especially Patrice. It
Hmm.
w- and the decision uh, of it, I feel like his parents' decision to do stuff really affected them growing up, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it shaped him. Like, how he's always jovial, he's always happy, he's always, you know, upbeat.
Yeah.
It's because of half of the things he's gone through. He's like, if I don't do that, I will go back into like this depression or whatever. So he's like, I'm not going to. But
Mm,
he knows when to switch on
yeah. It's actually a coping.
mechanism
Yeah,
as
his
well.
personality
Yeah,
is. That's interesting.
And I've realized he's been through this links to what happened between him and Suarez. He's been through a lot of racism.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When, from when he was a little, and trust me, France is not just race. I'm not saying everybody in France is or anything like that, but like
Mhm.
the the amount of racism that you go through in France, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Because
But
basically,
also, okay,
one
okay,
of
go
the sentences he said is they were calling him black. In French, I think it said Nero or something like that. People
No,
were
that
just
that
calling
was
him
in
that.
Italy. That was in Italy, dog. Let now. Okay, well, we might as well now start going straight
I
deep into the
swear
chapter.
it's a, either
No,
way,
no.
either way,
But
I'm
yes,
going back.
yes,
But like either way, and he said my mother did not call me Nero.
yeah,
My mother called me Patrice. If you
yes,
call me that, I'm gonna call you white. Then they
100,
stopped. I'm like, thank you very much. You
100%.
know? So I think that what Suarez did triggered some shit in him. And he was like, I I can't. I can't deal with this.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah. You're already going already too into the nitty
Yeah,
gritty.
I went straight to like chapter 3 or 4 or something like that. Because
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
one thing.
yeah.
To
But
be fair, I reread some parts of some chapters because I was like, I need to like refresh my book.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
well, where I am, I'm actually just at the beginning of chapter 4. So, like, I was like, we're
oh
doing.
okay.
'Cause I think we said we'll do the first three,
Yeah, three. Yeah, we do three.
and I think that's good because then it becomes like it doesn't become too much of a long review, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
when we can
Because if we did the whole book, I mean, we'd sit here for like 4 hours. Because
facts
I
set
feel like,
an hour or 45 minutes to an hour is a good enough
yeah,
amount of time to like just like have
yeah,
a
definitely.
good like discussion about it. But like,
Yeah,
okay, last thing, what last general question to ask was just like
yeah,
when you looked at the thing, I was just like, the picture is dope. He's just like chilling,
yes,
like, it's just like Patrice, like good old, like he's such a like laid back, like what I mean. It's like so approachable.
yeah,
He's so approachable here.
yeah,
He's like,
definitely.
that's the impression that I get, just like by looking at the picture, and then the one at the back, it's like him. There's a selfie of him. Uh, I mean,
With the fans.
with the fans, it's like him, man of the people, Patrice. I
Yeah.
thought that was also a cool picture. You know.
I actually can't wait to get deeper into the book to like understand his friendship with um with with G and Spanish guy.
Okay. Well, we
Because
might as well. We might
no,
as.
do you know what?
Yep.
Mainly because it's I know he's interviewed and he said like what he went through like with them and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
he's talked about his friendship with the two of them, but it's just it's odd and funny because I don't think to this day it's Tevez I'm talking about. I don't think to this day Tevez actually knows how to speak English. So
That's funny.
still,
That's
they're
funny.
just friends on pure vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with chapter one, which is called it's the book is divided into chapters, and the first chapter is called Running Wild. And like it starts off with like a very, very, very big like revelation. It's a bomba. It's a Patrice Evra bomba that um caught me off guard. I was not ready, Doc. I don't know for
Yeah.
you.
Once I wasn't ready either. I'm like, I have my cup of tea. I'm like, oh. And the second paragraph, I was like, wait, what? I had to read it again because I'm like, why? Wow. And you didn't like this is the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
so
yeah,
basically,
we might as well share.
chapter
Yeah,
one talks
yeah,
about his childhood, how he got into football, growing up, where he went to live, who he lived with. So basically, he lived with at some point a head teacher who touched him inappropriately.
mm-hmm.
That's the most appropriate way I can say this. And
Yeah,
Oh,
the thing about it is like it's like he says it would be like a little bit of like, oh, him not being receptive, obviously not being receptive to the touch, and then from there, you
yeah,
know, like, there was a little bit of a physical struggle, and that
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
part of the act of it. It was just like, oh, he like, it's just like, oh, I'm joking. I don't know why
Yeah, yeah.
how
No,
it.
definitely. It's like at some point he thought he thought he was hallucinating the whole thing, because
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
impression I got was like, and
yeah.
then at some point when he realized that that was wrong,
Oh
he
man.
starts doing bad things. He went into stealing at some point. Later on, he's like, I was running with the wrong
I'm
people.
still in page one, Doctor, where he says
Yeah,
this guy went from this little physical thing to like he's actually trying to get my pants off. That's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like what?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
And then now
Eh,
he's stuck in this situation. Let's like with this headmaster. The reason why he's staying with him because he's sleeping at
to
his
be
house
closer to
three
school.
nights three nights a week so that he can
Yeah,
be to school. And it's the thing about like he's having to like make this decision of just being like, okay,
yes. And
action.
later on,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, just to like when you flip the page, he does say, "I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah,
He was too ashamed."
yeah, yeah,
Trust me, I know the feeling. Like you're scared that if you say something, one, they won't believe you.
yeah,
Two, they'll believe you, but you can't really say anything because you're
yeah,
a guy.
yeah, yeah.
Sexual assault in guys is like it's very they people treat that differently to sexual assault in women. So
100%.
he's at the time I think he said he was, is it 15 or something like that, or
Yeah.
13. He was 13.
So
Puberty. We all know how we went through puberty. Our brains were not fully
yeah,
what's the fully what's it called? Uh,
even
like it
developed.
was
So
we were grown, we were babies.
yeah, what was the so? But anyway,
Hormonal.
so yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's that at that moment when some people that are older than you can actually take advantage of you, and he realized that, oh damn, I was being groomed over here because
Yeah.
he was like literally deciding, well, this guy lives inside the school grounds alone. It seemed like a smart idea to like live so you don't need to travel, like and commute,
It
and
doesn't
it not
I'm
just
not
fun,
gonna lie.
necessity, it's also like funds and
Yes.
all the
It
other
To be
things.
fair, it
Yeah,
did make sense for him to do that.
yeah,
But the man, I want him to realize it's not his fault because
yeah.
the man it's a sicko. You know?
Like he's the head teacher. This has got to be the
You
most
want
important person. But then
ex-
what's crazy is that now, like when he was now famous, right? Like because this thing, like on the last night at his house, that's when this head teacher tried to pretty much put his thing in his
yeah,
long in his mouth. He was like, hold on, uh, um, like I'm out of here. He leaves that place, and then from there, like he becomes famous. He becomes the person who he is, and then from there, like the police called him, and because obviously there was like some more complaints about some kids that were
yeah, yeah.
had complained about this head teacher, and then because he was famous and he was worried about the reaction at first, he lied and said no, nothing happened.
And I don't blame him for that. I do not blame him for that. Do you know why? Because again, he reverted to that little boy. The moment when it happened, I was a little boy. I'm scared. I'm
Mm,
scared. I'm scared. And
yeah,
I was like, oh god. And you can always find out who it is in this day and age. Just look for Patrice Evra's school records and we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
But
feel like the person is dead. I feel like the teacher is dead or something like that.
yeah.
So it's like whatever. Like
Oh, is that
I don't
revealed in
know.
the book?
No, I have no idea
Oh, okay, okay.
because
But
Patrice has never mentioned the person's name
he,
to this day.
yeah. Well, he did say, well, I can't tell you how much I regret that. That's his like, you
Yeah,
know.
and
uh,
he did say. Um, he did say I haven't told anybody the full story until now, which was until the time he wrote the book.
Yeah.
And his wife saw him crying one day while watching a program about abuse, and
Mm.
he told her a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
still, like, honestly, I won't lie, I had to, like, I cried a little bit because I
Oh,
was like, I just, you know how you just want to hug somebody?
true. True.
Even now, I'm just like,
Yeah. And it must have been a big decision for him to really decide to share this, you know. But anyway,
yes, and even it's and do you know what? I'm kind of glad he wrote it in the first chapter so he
yeah.
can get it over and done with, and
Yeah.
then start writing about happier times.
Yeah. This is the
And it,
part though that I like about this. It's just like it starts with a and then from there, like it feels like the the other chapters have adventure and like, so it's like a
yeah,
very big thing for him to decide to share this like deep secret that he had been carrying, and like this whole power about
oh
sharing, like, if
yeah,
you share, you're able to help other people that are going through the same thing. And like, and that's precisely, I feel like, why he said this. He says, don't carry your
yeah.
shame, because there's no shame. Deal with your
I
night,
highlighted that part.
talking about it. I look at my
Yeah,
own son and think, if something happens, I hope he would tell me. That's the same thing too. Like I highlighted
and
that.
yeah, and you realize yesterday I did tell you,
Yeah,
I hope and pray that somebody feels comfortable enough with me to tell me what's going on.
yeah,
But I hope and pray my son, like, truthfully, my son to a fault. Now it's at some point I'm like, you could have kept that stuff to yourself. He tells me everything. He be
yeah,
snitching on his cousin sometimes, and I'm like,
yeah.
they'll go and steal like toffees from the parlor before dinner, and it's like he'll have toffee with his mom.
Mhm,
My cousin and I ate toffees. I'm like,
mhm.
I know I said to tell me everything, but
Yeah.
now I have to change the hiding place on the topics. So you know
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
It's a whole thing. Like, at
Right.
least I know he's comfortable enough with me to tell me everything that's happening, and I'm happy
Yeah.
about that. But yeah, I,
Yeah. Well, but the other thing though is that as a mother though, there's always there's a connection, but also there's sometimes, like a son will feel like, oh, I can't tell, I can't, there's something
yeah.
I want to talk to with somebody else and not my parents. There's that
Oh
of like weight
yeah,
sometimes somebody feels. But anyway,
definitely.
that's besides the point. The
And
what
talking about connecting between someone and his mom,
yeah,
Patrice, in the 3 chapters that we've read so far, he had said, I think he mentioned his mom a lot of times and the influence she had on him,
yeah,
and he realizes how much she did for him.
mhm,
Well, and the whole protectiveness of her, like, over his life, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah,
I love that. I love that. Like,
yeah, yeah. Hmm. He,
and
like that, the thing about his family, like he actually in the first chapter also talks more, like gives his family background, like it's a large,
yeah, oh,
complicated,
a lot.
extended
Yeah,
family,
I,
24 children, 24, his
yes.
parents had 24 children, which is
Some
crazy,
with his. So
you know.
basically, his mom had 11, 8 of them with his dad,
Yeah,
and 3 of them with another man. And
yeah.
then his father had 13 kids, not with his mom.
Oof.
So aside from the 8, he had an extra 13. So
Yeah,
in total, they're 24.
yeah. Wow. Big,
And
big family. Big family. But then like, and then it's like, all right, he's like, he gives his like, all right, and when, his background, like Senegalese, born in this what is it, Dakar, Senegal.
yeah,
And, and then, but then like something that struck me was him saying like he considers himself a human being first before any nationality, because
yes,
he grew up in France and played for France, which was a decision that some people also obviously criticized because of his Senegalese roots, right? And
yeah,
he
yeah,
feels, and then he also feels Mancunian, and
yeah.
now he calls himself like a chameleon who adapts to its environment, and that part for me, as I related to as somebody that also has lived in different places.
But I relate the same way because I moved over. I had
Yeah,
between primary school and high school, I went to like four or five different schools. Not
look at
because I was a bad
yeah,
child, but because
yeah.
my parents were like, we don't like this school anymore, so we moved it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So even though we do have to get back to your story because you have lived in a lot of places,
Yeah.
and I'm curious. I'm very curious.
True. No, definitely, definitely. We'll do it for the review of my book.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding. We'll do it on another
write a book.
right. Actually, I've been.
Do you know what? I'll send you a link for a book that it will ask you questions and you answer it. And so it basically like does like it makes you reflect on life stories, and basically by the time you finish writing it, you've written an autobiography.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I
Ah,
bought so my sister bought it for my auntie,
yeah,
and
yeah,
she wants to buy one for my dad and my mom, because there's one for like
yeah.
dads and one for moms. So
Interesting. You know what? You're right. There's enough AI as well now to be
yeah,
like,
ChatGPT can help you,
right. You're right. You're right.
and you can put pictures.
You are so right, Doc. You're so right. I'm gonna. Yes,
Always right.
yes, yes.
Do you know it's very difficult being right all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is great. Thank you for that reminder, because
Oh my god.
that
I
makes sense.
think-
But anyway, so like that multi-layered feeling, even if you're just like somebody that like even in the same country, you can still experience this multi complex like identity that like he has to navigate, and he says he
Yeah.
adapts with different environments.
And
And I thought that was kind of cool. What
he I was gonna say he did move in with his mom's side of the family in Paris. And what I think is considered, I don't want to say the ghetto, but basically is in it, or from what I understood
yeah,
was 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 that that's where he lived.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and
And
apparently,
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, apparently when he was 10, he got circumcised.
Yes.
And he was traumatized by that.
Mhm,
uh, then
mhm.
as I said, he did say he. This is all in the first chapter, by the way. There's
Yeah,
a lot of information and I
yeah,
feel like I'm glossing over a lot of the information he dropped on us.
yeah.
But he he started stealing or being an accomplice of stealing.
He joined
You
the
know,
gang. He joined the gang
basically, yeah. And it's like,
because the gang gave him protection, and like
yeah,
there was also like the moment where, like, obviously, I think, right, was it because
oh yeah, I highlighted he began dealing marijuana for a little bit.
yeah, yeah, and then he had a friend who died from I think, was it a drug deal
Cocaine,
that went wrong? Oh
and
no,
he
it was
found it.
cocaine. Yes, it was cocaine. There we
Yeah,
go. Yeah. And but yeah, but like the point anyway is just like it was a very not calm environment that he was growing up in, and he had to join a gang after his dad left home when he was 10, because his dad was
yeah,
present until he was 10, and then like
yeah,
um, so yeah, him and like his dad and the mother, they argued too much, so they separated, and so that ended up like creating this void now, where that's why probably when we go back to the headmaster, that like probably that headmaster was
father figure.
playing a father figure kind of vibe, kind of role. He saw that sort of like,
Exactly.
you know, was seeking that at least in him, and then from there, like it led to what it led to. But yeah,
Yeah,
anyway, very lots
and
of info in that first. Go ahead.
I
Go,
will say,
no.
I will say that a lot of people who do that do like do uh, look for people who are very vulnerable. They're looking for like
Of course.
father figure, mother figure, figure in life,
True.
and it sucks. Trust it. It yeah.
True. True.
And
True.
as I said earlier on, um, he's lucky because a lot of people saw him play football,
Yeah.
and that's why I said like the bad. He was walking. I feel like his childhood, he was walking the thin line. He was really on the fence. He was
Yeah.
able to be the bad boy, gangster kind of thing, but
Yeah.
also he had the talent for the football.
Yeah. I mean, but he would steal like light things like chocolate, like
Yeah,
like
but that's how it starts,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. But
And
yeah,
then
it
it
grows.
gets to a point where it's like
It's like, oh, we need to host a barbecue. All right, we're gonna go steal like not just
some
chocolate,
meat
we'll steal some meat. We're gonna steal. That's
or
what they
some drinks for the barbecue. Yeah,
do for the
and I'm
barbecue.
like,
It grows. It
and
grows.
then people, when he's playing football, people are telling him, "Oh, you really can play. You should go forward. You should go forward. You should go
Yeah,
forward." Then
yeah,
he joined. Apparently, he joined CO Les Unis at 6,
yeah.
and then at 13 he joined CSF with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Forgive my French accent. And then his brother used to again, going back to why he went to stay with the teacher, his
Yeah.
brother used to throw a party. So when he was 13 and he joined the second club, his brother used to, it was far away from his house. His brother used to throw parties. His brother is like 10 years older than him, so his brother was probably in his 20s, throwing parties at home. He can't sleep.
That's what his name, Dominique, right?
Yeah, Dominique. He
Yeah,
can't sleep because everybody's dancing, there's music,
yeah,
and then he's like, I need to find it closer.
yeah, yeah.
And he
By the
was
way,
like,
so go ahead.
yeah. Then eventually, when he had a tip with the teacher, he came back to the house.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to highlight something. At some point, a friend of his, had apparently told him, wait, no, before I get there, uh, I've written notes, so I'm like basically trying to read, read my scribbly
I
handwriting.
hope you've written notes. Well, while you're looking up that up, like the thing is
Yeah,
the team as CO Ulis
yeah, yeah,
what they like actually a lot of people have sort of passed through that, like it's I think he mentioned that Henri started out there,
yes.
also
Marcel Desailly, I think. Oh,
Pogba, Mbappe,
Thuram,
Mendy, Mares, Kante, Luka
the
Ding,
big ones.
Nicolas Anelka, Musa Sissoko, Matuidi, Adrian Rabiot, Kingsley Coleman all grew up around Paris, right? But there was like a lot of like names that passed through this list release, like, and Henri was the one that I was just like, wow. And so it's just like a bunch of different little areas where there's just like um you know immigrants or children of immigrants that have this opportunity to just play together, and then like there's just like a lot of talent in that concentrated area. And by the way, this area is not that big, you know um and it's just like I don't know, it's so fascinating that like it's just when you think about it, it's just like so much talent has come out of you know
Yeah,
you
and
know
I don't know. I distinctly remember watching France play in 1998, and he does say he was 17 in 98, so he watched. He was grown. He watched
Mhm.
people that look like him. This lift the cup, and this is why I always say you don't know how much
Yeah,
seeing people that look like you on TV does to a person.
true, true. It can
You
give you
know,
so, yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
I was growing up, I used to love Oprah. I still do love her. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never thought a black woman would have her own TV show, Oprah Winfrey show, and say, "You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a house." You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just changes the way you think about stuff. Now, like my son thinks he can be an astronaut, a lawyer, a doctor, all at the same time
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
he sees that on TV, sees people do it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm really loving it.
Representation is important. You can never underestimate it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
I like that point. Um, and talking about representation, it's kind of interesting now that like some of those names are now obviously represented in the France national team, and it's kind of interesting that like for him, um, you know he he had like he had what did I want to say? He had like sort of like people that had inspired him. There was the love of Romario also as well. By the way, he wanted to
yeah,
be like Romario. That's a very important thing because like he references it later, um, and it's important because we start to get to the second chapter where we start to hear actually
yeah.
about his footballing, uh, his
Start
footballing. Yeah,
how
yeah.
he started, and
How?
they did. Let me just say before. Let me preface this by saying they really tried to do him dirty, and I constantly come back to the fact that people were really trying to pull him back
Yeah.
into a bad side. I'm
Mhm.
like, he could have easily given up.
And by the way, not just people trying to do him dirty, but sometimes there'll be like other factors that he's fighting. Like, say for example, there was part about like where at home he'd fight around the television. His sisters wanted to watch a movie, he wanted to watch
Yeah,
football, and
yeah,
and even though that's just like a small little family, like normal family dynamic where one family member wants to watch this, one family member wants to watch this, like he still, like if he wanted he would have been like, okay, and let that influence him not to like football more, but he was just like, listen, like I'm still gonna be still passionate about what I like, and I know when I'm playing the game I like it, and I'm still gonna continue that. And that's like sort of part of like the choices that you have to make in terms of being resilient and supporting your dream or your passion, because the first chapter really ends with him just sort of like now knowing that, like, what, by his mid-teens he knew that he would end up playing football somewhere, and he wanted to sort of like, that was his exit out of this, like, neighborhood and also upbringing that seems not so safe, all the friends that are like getting either like caught up in drugs or getting shot or whatever, it was just like not it was his ticket out of that world. And that's how like it sets up the chapter 2 that is in
yeah.
Masala and Monza. Do you want to have anything else to say as we
Side
transition?
note, I
Yeah.
just checked. I I just checked where Mario is currently a senator in Brazil. He went from football to politics. That's all I
You
have to
went
say.
from what?
Footballer to politics, politician.
Oh, really?
After the retire, yeah,
I used to like Romario and Rivaldo as well more than like,
Ronaldo.
yeah. I had a moment where I was like, okay, okay. To be honest, though, no, no, I never did like them more than Ronaldo. Ronaldo, I liked Ronaldo Nazario more than anyone.
Yeah,
And then
but I,
when I saw Ronaldinho play, then I was like, oh my god, I like him more. But then I was like,
oh,
I
okay,
don't like to be as efficient as Ronaldo, so I'm more on my
yeah, but
when I
I
played
have to say
Ronaldo. But like, go ahead.
it's valid because back then the Brazilian team has fallen from grace because growing up Brazil was that team to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Italy also that team to beat.
Yeah, yeah.
Germany that team to beat. Netherlands that team to beat. So all
Mm-hmm.
of them, all these countries I'm mentioning
Yeah.
right now are not doing their best. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
so this is why I also say I'm gonna say this. Ghana might just win the World Cup soon. So
Mm-hmm.
chapter two.
But
uh,
chapter 2 says by age 17 he had been let go by PSG youth because they still considered him too small. That was funny.
yeah, and
Um,
then if we fast forward to somehow he managed to get to okay, so he talks about like his girlfriend and stuff like that, and
Oh, his
the
girlfriend
girlfriend he had then
was
was
another
like,
hurdle
oh
to navigate, by the way, Doc, because his girlfriend was like, "Oh, either you choose between going to Masala or being here with me."
me, and I'm like, don't ever do that. Okay, if you're a girl, if you have to say that, then you shouldn't be in that relationship. Because why? You know?
They didn't what?
And also, because why? Why are you doing? Why are you saying that? Choose me or your career. If
Yeah,
you actually, you have you have to be supportive.
yeah,
Try not to crush their dreams, because if their dreams do end up getting crashed because of what you say in 20 years, when they're not where they wanted to be or where they could have been, they will start resenting you. So don't do that.
true, 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 true. Yeah,
And and somehow he gets to go to
to
Italy.
Italy, yeah, because like that's how it was. This scout who came from
Yeah,
like a small third division club in Sicily, and all right, they're like, all right, um, we want to sign you as a youth player. Actually, Torino wanted to sign him as a youth player, but Masala offered him a professional contract and the chance for
yeah,
first team football. That's what
yeah,
it was. And now he's like, he had to obviously say bye to his mom and then get on that like, journey to Masala, which was also kind of like not the smoothest because he missed his connection or something like that. And then
yeah. His missus connection, and
yeah,
someone a good Samaritan
yeah,
helped him out.
helped him. And yeah,
And I feel like he said he at the time this book came out, he said he was looking for the person. He's still looking for the person because apparently he didn't take the person's name, number, nothing. I was like,
right.
can't you remember where he stays? I don't know. But
Yeah.
to be fair, in those kind of moments, you don't remember a lot. But I
Hmm.
really wanted him to find this person
But,
and say,
but
just say thank you. Because
yeah,
there's, I really feel like in his life, there's so many like uh, guardian angels on his shoulder that
yeah,
just helped nudge him in the right way. It just kept on nudging him, because he could have slept at the train station. Something
yeah,
could have happened. Anything could have happened to him. At
yeah,
some point, his mom didn't want him to go to Italy because I understand his mom was scared.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
This is
typical overprotective mama. But if you're a mom, you should support your parent,
yes,
your son or
and trust
daughter
me,
or
my son, our
dream.
kids will tell us anything and everything. They'll
Hmm.
be saying some stuff and be like, I really don't want him to do that, but he has to learn.
Yeah,
It's like when you keep on telling the kid, don't touch that, it's hot, don't touch it, it's hot, don't touch it, it's hot. At some point, you have to let it burn him
yeah,
a little bit, not too
and
much,
hope
a
that
little
it
bit.
doesn't burn them too much. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
My parents did the same with me.
Hmm.
My parents did the same with my sister. Yeah,
That's
and after I bent, it would be like, oh, but we told you. Have you learned your lesson? Okay.
right, right.
Yeah.
So
So
anyway, so now like he's Patrice is like, all right, let's now figure out this life of being a footballer in Italy, right? And
yeah.
the fight I laughed, Dorco, I laughed when he was like he didn't know like the small fork was for the starter and the food was like he's like, what? Are you sure all this food? Like I could just
No, no.
in that
It's
state.
happened to me too before. So
Yeah.
it's funny. It's like, oh my god. And this is why I don't like having going to formal dinners because I feel out of place.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to remember it's from outside in or inside out or however. It's like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and
Such yeah.
because I don't drink, I I didn't know there was a port glass. I didn't know there was a water glass. There's a
Yeah. But then
there's
at the
like
end of
12.
the day, do all these like norms really matter? the point is to get the food in your mouth, inside your
And
stomach,
it
and
digests the
eat
same
it.
way.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and we're from cultures where we use our hands, and that's like
Hands.
natural fork. This is my starter fork, my main course fork, and my dessert fork if I want to. So like but
And
like
sometimes the
putting
dessert
yourself
comes tied in a rubber bag, a see-through rubber bag, and all you have to do is bite it off. And
right,
what are
right,
we doing? But
yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah. It was a
This
fun.
is just
Go ahead.
like I feel in yeah. You know what? You're right because I'm going back to my notes, and the racism thing wasn't Italy. It wasn't in France
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah, yeah,
he
yeah. I
references
mean,
that.
don't get me wrong. You'll still get your fair slice of racism in France. I'm not saying I've lived
Trust
in
me.
France,
Oh,
so
I've been there once, and
yeah, yeah.
I I want to give it a second go because I feel like the first time it
Do it,
was just
do it. You need to
my
do it.
sister was there for a month. She
Okay,
stayed for a month and promptly what moved back to London.
that's
So
funny.
she was like,
That's funny. Anyway, he actually, so now Patrice Evra, whatever, he talked about marveling at how the balls were new and shiny and Paul,
yeah,
like he was just like it was just like a lot of stuff to adjust to. But he got his first opportunity as a forward against Perugia in a preseason game. And I was like, hold on a second, Patrice Evra was a forward? But yeah, makes sense. Inspired by Romario. And he got that nickname. I think it was called like La something. I forgot the nickname, but like it'll come back later on as a different one. Actually, he's had several nicknames. But anyway, so the thing is like he's playing as a forward, and it's and he thinks of
um,
himself as a forward, and then they call him the Black Panther. Actually,
yes,
in
yes. Give me a moment. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. Um, the Black Panther, by the way, is the great Eusebio's nickname as well. So he liked it, and he rocked with it and went with it. And that story is really um interesting because he's not really like lighting up fires, as a forward, but he now ends up being in a particular, I can't remember which game, um you know and actually no, that's later on. That's later on. um that's later on because he really now like talks a little bit more about some of the racism he experienced in Italy. And I visited Italy before, didn't experience racism. I experienced good food, but I was there for a very short time, and in a particular just small part of Rome. But um but we all know just by evidence that like life in Italy is not free from racism, especially if you're black. And
Yeah,
he was given the nickname Nero, and that's what like doctor was referring to earlier on about like he was like, well, if you keep calling me Nero, then I'll call you Bianco, which it means white. But like he's like, well, I prefer you call me by my nickname. But he mentioned one time he was at an airport in Palermo that like some kid was like, Daddy, look at the Nero. And he had
yeah,
never seen a black man before and asked for a photo. And it was innocent curiosity that I love that he responded positively to, and
yeah.
didn't think
So
of
I am gonna say,
yeah.
well, the kid doesn't know any better because he's a kid, and I'm also glad he
I've
responded
experienced that,
positively.
by the way, when I was in
Yeah.
Hong Kong. Like this kid just like came
Oh,
up, hey,
yeah,
do you like chocolate? I was like, okay, yeah. And then he was like, oh, do this. And then the mom was just like, just at that moment, she just snatched him away, like, and
yeah.
oh,
But
but go ahead, say what
if
you want.
if you treat your like the kid nicely and you're black, they'll
Yeah,
always have a uh, positive reaction to black people in the future.
yeah, yeah.
Impression, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
so
I know.
me, but once they get to a certain age, if they're like, 11, 12, 13. I'm like, don't ever say that in your life again. I'm going to be nice to you. Nicely, I'll be like, don't do that. Don't call me black because it's very disrespectful. How
Mhm.
do you feel? Like at a certain age,
Yeah.
you have to be like, you explain nicely. Oh, I'm gonna let it slide this time, but don't do it again. Because
Mm.
some people are not like me,
Mhm.
you know. But
Mhm.
if they're under like 10, I'm like, they're kids. They don't know any better. Racism is learned and is taught. They
Yeah.
learn it from bad. It's like a bad habit, and
Yeah.
and as I said, we all know later on in life he had this thing with Luis Suarez, and
Yeah.
another reason why to this day I don't care for him.
Yeah.
And to be fair, again on that note, that man gets away with a lot because all he gets is suspensions, money taken away from him. That's it. He goes around biting people and calling people names.
Yeah.
You know.
And
So
I also don't like Luis Suarez, but this Patrice Evra was like he learned the first phrase that he learned in Italian was "Can I come in without paying?" Which is
yeah,
I thought was a funny thing because he learned this for obviously his brother. Whenever he came to visit, he could take him to a bar. They'd skip the queue, and he'd just say that, and then get in. But the
yeah,
racism he experienced, he said he'd hear monkey noises whenever he touched the ball, or some people throw a banana,
yeah,
and that was crazy. But um, while that negative stuff or not so positive stuff was happening, um, he picked up another flattering nickname, which was the Black Gazelle, and L'Equipe, which is very obviously one of the leading sports media outlets in France. Printed a small article about him in France, so he knew that, like, all right, even though I'm young, I'm going through this very difficult time in Italy. Some people in France are reading about me, and that's sort of like what that gave him even more inspiration and power to get through some of these situations. So you know and even though his team wasn't doing well, he was sort of like labeled as a shining in a struggling team, while the season was reaching an end. I thought that was really cool that, like, at least like there was like something positive that came out of that, because imagine if he was there, then like like, because like you experience a tough racism, you experience a tough life in Italy, and then in your career you don't even like excel or don't shine. It's just like, oh,
yeah.
what was it even worth it going that
Exactly,
route? But
exactly.
it was, he got a little bit of shine from it, and that was part of what chapter 2, one of the highlights for chapter
Yeah.
3 was. Yeah.
And also, he did kind of mention a little bit of how like I don't think he used to read his contracts when he was younger. He would just sign them,
Yes.
and it was also a detriment to, like, almost ruined his career at a certain point
Mhm.
because he realized he owed back like some sort of registration fee, like for over 4 years or something like that, and he
Yeah.
had to pay everything, or he got the former club to pay. It was a thing between him and Monaco,
Yes.
and the other it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well,
let's just say,
he moved to Monza, right?
yeah,
Yeah, because there was the Masala sub chapter, and then like the Monza
yeah,
part, where now
yeah,
he's in 20 minutes away from Milan. He had more money, around 2,000 euros a month, and he was given an apartment that a former player had just vacated, and so and that apartment at least had a big TV, and that he liked that, like, oh, finally I have a big TV, because the place where he lived in Masala was actually really bad. That, like, I think, like, maybe his mom came to visit, and
yeah.
they were like, "Oh my God, our son is struggling. Life is," as I said, imagine life is
Ugh.
tough. You'd be
And
experiencing
your
living conditions
what?
that worse than like where you were in France. And
Yeah,
the mom was just like, "No, my son is struggling." So the Monza
and
part better.
African moms, I can imagine how when I read about it, I was like, she is probably like going exaggerating,
Yes.
which, and I'm like, calm down. It's not, it's bad, but it's not that bad. Like,
Yeah.
but I'm glad. I'm glad he stuck it out,
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. And then but like the Monza part was like, yeah, he has money for the first time in his life a little bit. And
yeah,
then also another big revelation is that like the breakup with his girlfriend happens because you know uh
yeah,
he was like, well, because we're far apart, it's better we
yeah,
separate.
distance. And
And
no lies, I'm kind of glad that happened because I'm like, from what
but
I'm reading, she sounds like a bit too much, and it's it's.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I feel like she probably wanted him to visit her more, and he's like, I want to start my football career.
yeah.
Young puppy, I don't know where Luan is. We
Yeah.
don't know where Luan
Yeah. Well,
is.
he told her, I told her that I thought it was better if we ended our relationship because we were too far apart. I explained that
Yeah,
I have any model I wanted in Milan, which was full of models, and that I was sick of her moaning because she was nagging him a lot. And he also admits,
exactly.
he says, what a dickhead I was, but I was taking out my frustration on those closest to me because I wasn't getting in the Monza team as well. So he kind of admits that part of it, though, like him
Was
getting to the breakup was like he was like frustrated at work. Like, right, he's not getting into, you know.
yeah,
Young Puppy says, I'm that dickhead to Uncle Pat. so yeah, but like also he was like, yeah, well, also I didn't have a lot of models really, but like, but he had money in Monza, 20 minutes away from Milan. Like, I'm sure life is good. And you're getting that much 2K a month and an apartment.
back then 2K a month was a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But as we said, he wasn't getting first team football, so he's frustrated about this. Has a little bit of a feud, a little bit with the manager, whose name is Frosio, and he was like, "Why don't you smile?" He was like, "Why should I smile? It's not my birthday. I need to play. You always play the same team. We're shit, and we draw or lose every week. Why don't you try me?" Cause like, bro, like I could tell that he was really furious about this. Like he's like, well, the team is not moving in any positive direction. Why are you still keeping the same lineup? Ten Hag. Or
Wow,
no,
wow.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This is the first name that just came to my head. But at the end of the day, I think he knew that like, yeah, his chances were finished. I think he had only played 24 minutes of league games in the entire
Yeah,
season. And he
yeah,
criticizes Italy for like not realizing his potential. And something others at the club couldn't see was the feud that he was having with the manager. And that makes me wonder too. It's like a little insight about like other players that like Manchester United players, current, like, Zexi, could he have had a feud? Maybe could the agent have had like we don't know the insides that are the behind the closed doors conversations and situations that are happening, why like may or may not be getting as much who knows. But the point in Patrice Evra's story is just that he's frustrated, but then there was also now sort of like something that was opening up when Nice was just acquired by Roma chairman Franco Sensi. um and even though he would earn less money than at Monza, but he'd be able to play back in France again, for Nice. So yeah, so
yeah.
that's sort of like what concluded chapter 2, leading to the Nice chapter. And
And
yeah, go ahead.
equally, yeah. Just to start off with the niche chapter, it seems like the struggles of Monza followed him to Nice because he didn't really get a lot of playing time in Nice either. And uh,
Mm-hmm.
he said over here that Sandro Salvioni was the first team boss for Nice at the time, and he was very critical of him,
Yeah.
Patrice.
Mm-hmm.
And I think mainly because you know how Patrice is always confident of himself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, of course.
I think I'm the best. I know I'm the best. I think I'm the best. So that attitude, I don't think Sandro liked it. So he
Mhm.
was telling the agent, "Oh, I don't like him because of his attitude problems. I feel like we talked about it a lot of times. So that just
Yeah.
didn't help Eva.
And then it led to him. Obviously, there was that game. I think it might have been versus, like, I can't remember which team, but um, he started in left midfield,
Yeah,
and played
yeah,
for the whole 90 minutes. They won 2-1, but with 15 minutes remaining, he was moved into left back
yeah,
because the left back was injured, and
yeah,
he was
yeah,
like, "Okay, I'm covering for a teammate. As long as I'm on the pitch, I like this. This is cool." And then that's when Salvioni next away game versus Strasbourg, the
yeah,
follow
yeah,
Salvioni is like, you know what, stay at left back because we got another injury, and our regular left back, moved to center half, and uh, we had like he says, even though Nice lost 3-0, he had an excellent game, and Salviani said Patrice was the best player. And then when he
yeah.
picked left back again for the following game, he told him, "Listen, man, I'm not a left back." Then he was like, "Well, okay, take that bib off then. Okay, you don't play then. You don't decide who plays where." That's when Patrice backed down because he was having this little, as you're talking about, his
Tip.
ego, and
Yeah,
confidence in himself. Like, it's like the back and forth. But then it was a really good approach by Salvioni because it was a carrot and stick method. It's like, well, you want to be on the pitch, you'll be on left back. And then what meant that it was like, oh, Patrice now started performing really well. But before he got to that, he kept on. The manager didn't praise him. Sometimes he'd ask him questions like, "When are you going to start to love defending?" When are But like, because like he was doing it, and but even though he thought, well, I'm still a forward, I still want to play up top, and at the end of the day, he's like, looking back, it was a carrot and stick method, which was really, which ended up working on me. And he gave him his props. He says, "What a man! What a turnaround that he had on how he viewed him." So he kept his place in the team as left back, and they lost 5 or 8 games. He was playing 90 minutes every week. You know what? And he started sort of like, that was sort of the evolution of Patrice as a left back, or the genesis of Patrice as a left back. And he kept on channeling his anger for not being played in his preferred position by being a better footballer, which is
yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
And I feel like we have this argument. This all comes back to the arguments we've had on KG's channel, where people have to know how to play in different positions. I don't care if it's not your preferred position. Play where you're put. Oh my god, this is a revelation. Like, you said it out loud, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I would. Do you know
Yeah.
what? Somebody has to clip that part. Because I said
Oh.
this. Rio Ferdinand played a goalkeeper once. John O'Shea played a goalkeeper once. What's his name? Carl Walker played a goalkeeper once. Hell, when Rooney, apparently in training, when Rooney used to go in the net, they practice for every eventuality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So and I'm like, this goes back to Monday's game. I know Bruno is not the best in midfield. His preferred is the one of the 10s.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give him his props. He's doing what he has to do in the midfield. He's still being creative as hell. He's not giving he's giving his B game or C game sometimes.
Yeah.
But he's doing it.
But he's doing it.
You know? So like, sometimes you have to do what's best for the club in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because even recently, and I know this is going off the book, like, because we have to talk about it. Because that's why if I was working at United, I would take this book and let people read it. Once you sign that contract, you are reading a book of your choice, of one of, okay, not of like, for example, if you sign as a goalkeeper, you're reading Peter Schmeichel's book. Yeah. If you sign as a left back, right back, centre back, You're reading. You're reading.
I
Rio has two books.
okay.
Patrice has the book. You're gonna read.
Yeah. That's not a
Tyler's a striker. You read David Beckham's book. I don't know. Roy Keane has a book. Roy Keane lost money on his book.
yeah. Okay,
Gary Neville has a book.
that's not a bad
You're
idea.
reading.
That's not a bad idea. Okay.
You know?
Well, do you wanna lead us into chapter 4, and then we'll end after summarizing chapter 4, your impressions
Oh
of it,
yeah.
and
So
then
basically, let's end his time at least. He had to
yeah,
pay some money back again,
mm-hmm.
and oh, he was supposed to sign for Monaco,
Yes,
right?
yes.
He never did.
Mhm. There was
Uh,
a whole back and forth, obviously, where like
yeah. Oh,
there's an agent that's well. So what happened was Nice put him under a lot of pressure to sign. They said he would have a big
yes. Oh yeah.
increase in his salary, and you know what, he was tempted to, and also Nice had told him that Barcelona had been in touch with him, had been
It
in
was
touch, and they wanted to sign him. Even they even showed him a fax from Barcelona, which he was not convinced was genuine. And then he had the whole thing where like they, I think he was going back. His agent told him, "Don't go to Nice, right? Don't go there." But his no, don't go back to your apartment.
yeah.
Let
So
him get some
so
stuff.
basically,
Go ahead. Yeah,
I think he was supposed to sign six forms. He signed
yeah.
only two,
Yes,
and
yes.
then they
But,
told
but
him,
after that, yeah. He was hiding in his agent's apartment in Monaco,
yeah, yeah,
and that's where he moved a car full of clothes there and hid there. And he was like, "Oh, this is scary but fun and exciting in a weird, odd way." It's like, oh, the Nice owners are tracking him down, and because they want to sign him so much, right?
yeah.
And,
And
and then like that they have this meeting in that's what you're referring to now, right? That they have this meeting in the restaurant, and he doesn't sign, and then but then there's somebody at a bouncer who's like kind of maybe of Eastern European like
yeah,
nationality, that was trying to like being like, well, if you want to be safe, you gotta like sign it,
yeah.
yeah, and try to
And
intimidate him, yeah,
he
and
says, I switched off my phone and hid in Monaco until it was time to meet Didier Deschamps. That's Monaco's coach,
yes,
and complete my move. Nice never did get the money they would have made from selling me, but they
yeah,
had a good season out of me and one promotion to League One, where they stayed despite having to appeal twice against demotion because
yeah,
of the financial irregularities.
yeah,
So he was part of this power play, financial power play that
yeah.
he's like, thankfully, he stayed out of and managed to get out of and then went to Monaco.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Crazy,
and
crazy. And
yeah,
that's what sets up the chapter 4, the Monaco chapter.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
oh,
Crazy
oh,
stuff that
I,
happens where like players are intimidated and coerced into
yeah. And
when
after Monaco, chapter 5, I'm just gonna tell people chapter 5 is Nightmare in Manchester. So because he went from Monaco to Manchester, and I'm excited because
yeah, all right. That's a
I
nice
have
little precursor to the
yeah.
next installment of this, where we
Let,
will do the next
let me just say my chapter 4. I have not made it to chapter 4 yet, so I'm going to be talking out from what I remember.
yeah. For the next stream, let's do chapter 4 to 8.
Yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
I think like that'll be perfect with the amount of time that we
Because chapter 5, well, I've flipped through it and I'm like, oh my god, he's talking about his first. You remember his first like year or so in United was horrendous. Him and Vidic.
save that for the next show. Guys,
No, but like, yeah, that's the next show,
don't
guys.
hit like and subscribe as we continue
Yeah,
this conversation based on I Love This Game by Patrice Evra. I think it's a very riveting story that like has interesting details that um may inspire, may, like remind people some things, and we can learn and enjoy. and give like learn the life lessons, and also give props to Patrice for sharing, because this is his power in sharing. Shout out to Esco, who's chilling at the back watching while what I'm saying. Big up yourself, Esco, for
Yes, so
listening into this conversation. Get yourself the book. It's not that crazy expensive. You can get it, like the soft copy version of it if you want to get it quickly. But yeah, anything that else you want to say in closing, Doc?
no. I hope you enjoyed it.
Get out of here. She's like, no. And also, yeah, the invitation is open on this book review series of I Love This Game. The invitation is open to you as well. Esco, anybody, Luan, well, all the other members. I think we have like maybe 25 members or something. So yeah, at least we get to experience this first, and we'll obviously share it with the rest of the community. But thank you again one more time, and just like that, we out of here. In Patrice's words, I love this game. Football Power Hour.